Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Autumn Ambrose and today I am building a cozy grandparents home. So I'm building this because when I was thinking of what type of autumn houses I could build, cozy autumn houses I could build, I was thinking, oh, it would be really lovely if I made a cozy grandparents home where I can imagine you'd be so excited to go to your grandparents home to eat cookies, decorate cookies, watch your favourite film and cozy up on the sofa with a hot cup of cocoa or some warmed milk and your cookies that you decorated and made with your grandparents, and then settle down to a nice story in your very nicely decorated themed bedroom. And I basically saw a picture that I found on Pinterest, where else? And I basically really just liked the roofing of all things. I really liked the roofing. And it was kind of like a A-framed house or triangle house. It had that kind of same like type of roofing where you would have a gabled roof and then a half gabled roof to create that really long flowing roof look, to make it look like one long bit of roofing. It's just this one was a little bit more shallow, so it had a slight kink or bend in the roofing. And I was like, okay, I want to make this. And I tried to recreate this roofing, but I could not for the life of me figure it out despite knowing how it was done. So I was like, okay, just put down the picture, okay, just put it down, look away, and just go ahead and just start building whatever. And I did it. As soon as I put down that phone, I managed to figure out how this roofing was done. And the picture that I was following that I found on Pinterest also had a floor plan attached to it, as it was one of these older pictures. And I decided to go not to follow the floor plan, as there were other elements from other pictures that I liked from other buildings, and I wanted to include those elements into my build. And so therefore I decided to go with my own floor plan, as I decided to incorporate those bits and pieces from other builds. So those other bits and pieces were the garage. I did notice the floor plan for this house had a garage at the back, but I was like, well, that doesn't make sense, does it? Why is it at the back? How would you get your car there? I don't understand. So I decided to stick my garage off to the side with like those half walls that you would kind of see on a castle, and I then used that idea that the kids would probably think that this place is sort of like castle-y because of those castle half walls. And so I used that as inspiration when I was decorating the kids' bedroom. I also added this add-on here towards the side of the build. I make that into a greenhouse, and again it just kind of added to that storyline that I was having in my head, as to what this house could be and how this house could be used in the cozy grandparents setup that I have. But I also wanted this house to have slight Victorian influences when it came to the exterior. That's basically because both of my grandparents lived in Victorian houses, and so I wanted to include Victorian influences. And just actually opposite this house, just across the road, is the Victorian house that I built for my Houses Through the Ages series. So if I had any I don't know, brain farts as to how a Victorian build looked like, I just had to spin my camera around and have a quick look because it was just across the road. And I also want to include things that I remember when growing up, or things that I was told about my grandparents. And one of the things I was told about my grandparents was that my granddad actually believed in fairies. Apparently, he would 100% believe in fairies. It's not a joke, apparently. It's not a joke. He believed in fairies. And he would believe if you didn't believe in fairies, that's it, you've killed one. you just killed a fairy, which I've just done. So to bring back that fairy, I now have to say, I do believe in fairies. I do believe in fairies, and I've done it. I've just brought back a fairy. I've just done fairy CPR. So I wanted to include fairies into this build, and I was just doing a little bit of decoration around the fence area. I was like, oh, I know what I could add fairies, and then as I was adding the fairies, like, oh yeah, my granddad believed in fairies, and I added in a little fairy home at the back of the property, which I make out of the debug houses from Cottage Living. I also wanted to include a very large or largish kitchen, because I thought it'd be a lovely idea if your Sims could cook with the grandkids. But also, my grandma, she was a good baker. I hear she was a good baker. And she baked a lot. My grandma, she baked a lot. My aunt has given me her recipes. She has photocopied them and compiled them into a little notebook, and she's given it to me. My nan, she wasn't into baking, but she was into like cooking. My mum is part of a big family, and so if one of them didn't like something that she'd cook, she'd be quite happy to cook them something else instead. And yeah, she, by the sounds of things, my nana just liked to feed people. If you came round to her place, she would just happily feed you anything. So I wanted a big kitchen for that reason, because both grandparents were into cooking. And I also wanted to clutter up the kitchen, because I like to think grandparents' houses would just be full of stuff that they've collected throughout the years and have lots of memories attached to them, or just because they like it and they want it out there. I wanted a big kitchen with lots of stuff in it. I do want to play test this as I'm doing this voiceover. I have not yet play tested it, because I would like your Sims to actually use it for the purpose of like kid and grandparent or parent cooking together. So I would like to play test it. It should all work, but I would like to play test it. And this is the living room, so I would imagine you would sit here after a long day of like decorating and baking cookies with your grandparents, and now sitting on the sofa watching your favourite TV programme or movie, and snuggling down with a nice hot cup of cocoa and your cookies and your blanket. You have a cat purring away, the dog sort of like just sitting there enjoying the fire, and stuff like that. And I put down I think it's a scouting trophy in the bookcase. I think it might have got deleted actually. Now looking at it, I don't see it there. It could have been deleted as I deleted the bookcases, but I'll go back, because there is part of the house that I haven't decorated. I haven't put any wallpaper in the study area. So I need to go back and do that. And when I do that, I'm going to put back the scouting trophy, because in my head I like to think that the parents would loan it to the grandparents, like every month or so the grandparents can have the scouting trophy that one of the grandkids got. So when the grandkids go over, it's like, oh, you got my scouting trophy. It's like, well, yeah, I'm so proud of you, kind of thing. And in the living room, I put down the laundry day round tea light holder. When I first saw that, I thought it looked like floating tea lights, because when I was growing up, we had floating tea lights. Whenever my mum would go, oh, shall we light some candles? Like, oh, are we gonna light the floating tea lights? Because I loved them. I got so excited about them. So I put them down because they look like floating tea lights to me. I did read the description of it. Nowhere does it say it's a floating tea light. But to me, it looks like a floating tea light holder. But this is the grandparents' bedroom. I put it on the ground floor for easy accessibility. I like to think that this used to be the family home, and as they got older and as their kids got older, they moved out, so more room for them, and so they moved their bedroom downstairs, just again for easy accessibility. And I've watched the Delicacy video where she decorated an apartment in City Living for like an elderly couple. And she put down sort of like medical equipment. I didn't go as far as that, putting down medical equipment like drips or like a medical bed. But in their ensuite, I did put down like a rail because they have like a wet room of sorts, because I put down the Discover University shower. So I thought it'd be nice to put down the rails so they have something to hold on to, because it might get a little bit slippery in there. But this is the garden room, the greenhouse. This is the greenhouse, and I like to think that Grandpa, this is his room. He likes to garden, he likes to arrange flowers, and whilst he is tending to his garden or his flowers, one of the grandkids can be in there drawing or creating something. And I chose these City Living planters because they're painted, and I like to think the grandparents allowed or let the grandkids paint the planters and let the creativity just flow and shine and all that jazz. So this is the grandkids' bedroom. So I made this into like a fairy tale themed bedroom because of like the castle half walls that's next to this bedroom. And I like to think the grandkids, I like to think the grandkids think their grandparents live in the castle because of those half walls. And so yeah, I decided to decorate it in like a fairy tale. So we have a castle, the dollhouse castle. The bedroom is set in like a fairy tale forest with elves and magical creatures. So we have Uni the unicorn, we have the Womp Womp from high school years. He's sitting on that chair, and I went for very whimsical medieval looking furniture when it came to like the mirror and the wardrobe, as a lot of like these fairy tales are set in medieval times. And yeah, so I had a lot of fun decorating this bedroom, making it look like a very fairy tale castle-y looking room. Used those cloud shelves, which took me a very long time to find. I looked under clouds, they weren't there. I was like, what? Where did you find them? Put down these storage, used like a treasure chest, and the other one kind of looked like a princess chest. So put that down there so they can just put the stuff in and, and leave it. So this is the study. This is the study I have not yet painted, but I might paint it in the base game wallpaper where they have like a wallpaper in the middle and then wood underneath. So I might use that. But this is like the little reading nook area. So when I was growing up, the school that I went to, whenever it was reading week or book month or something like that, they would create this little reading den, and it was like a tent with all these cushions, and they would encourage you, if you want to read your book during break time, you can use this den area to read your book. And it was really inviting with all these pillows. It's super comfy. I'm not like a big book reader myself, but I wanted to go ahead and use it. And so that's what I've created here. There's a really lovely, cozy, magical area where the grandkids could read their book. There's a little beanie chair for one of the grandparents to read their favourite story to them. Put down some cookies down there with some like a tea set, so they can get nice and cozy and read their story. But I like to think one of the grandparents was a teacher of some sort. So they're all about nurturing and encouraging education away from the classroom. So I like to think that the grandparents are all about letting the grandkids do a little bit of gardening with them, so they know where their food comes from. They're all about encouraging them to read, hence the little reading nook there, to encourage like creativity and imagination. So yeah. This is the like parents' bedroom, so for whatever reason the parents want to stay over as well, they can, and I could not decorate a grandparents' home and not go for the chintzy floral bedroom where I would imagine it smells of like roses and lavender. So that's what that bedroom was about. And this was the last bedroom. I didn't intend to have this many bedrooms, but I just feel like grandma and granddad, they had some spare navy blue paint over from the grandkids' bedroom and decided to decorate this bedroom in a dark navy blue colour. I also painted the ceiling of the kids' bedroom because I wanted to create like a midnight starry sky. The only thing was that I just wanted to make it look like they just painted the ceiling. But we only have floor tiles, and the problem with floor tiles are that they have like a grouting texture to them, or they have like a tiled texture to them. So it'd be really lovely to see just some solid block colour, no texture floor tiles that we could stick on the ceiling so it looked like it's just been painted. We're also great to see some more ornate floor tiles to put on the ceiling, because that's what they used to do back in the day. They used to see 5 walls instead of 4, so that would be quite nice. Now we have the ability to paint the ceilings. It would be nice for that. So this is the main bathroom. I needed to include a bathtub mainly for the dog bed downstairs. There's got to be a dog in there somewhere. I again have not play tested this, but hopefully they can get around the bathtub and get to the shower that's behind. But this is where I'm going to leave you. I believe there's going to be a little bit more footage after this, which I have not recorded because as I was doing this voiceover, it's like, oh, that's why I didn't export the video. That's why it's all in little bits. Is because there's more to come that I have not recorded yet. So anyway, this is where I'm going to leave you. So thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I hope you have a very lovely day. So thank you and goodbye. Ooh, just quickly before I go, I just really quickly want to mention that the garden was inspired by a memory that I have of my grandparents' garden, and from memory they had some raised plant boxes with a path running through the middle that led to a wooden bench. This wooden bench was known as Granddad's bench, I think because he made the bench. I'm not entirely sure, can't remember. But I also remember there being an apple tree somewhere, so we have an apple tree in this garden. I also put down some swings for the grandkids, some monkey bars for the grandkids, chickens and Patchy. I do fill up the planter boxes with stuff. So 2 of them have flowers in them, the other 2 have vegetables in them, and then the last one is just empty. It has some soil in it, so it kind of looks like they are going to plant something later on. And the vegetables in question are pumpkins, because this is a autumn build. Can't have an autumn build without pumpkins. And then the other one is the oversized mushroom crop, and what I did was I scaled both the mushroom crop and the soil that you would plant it in. I scaled both of them down and raised them up so they look like they were sitting in the planter. And I did get my what's it called, the werewolf sim Lou to play test it, and he was quite happily watering the mushrooms. So I don't know, there might be some overgrown, oversized mushrooms growing, I don't know, but I would love to see. And talking of play testing, I did play test the kitchen, that works, and I did play test the shower in the main bathroom, that also works. So this is where I'm definitely going to leave you, so please like and subscribe, and hopefully I'll see you on the next one. Until then, I hope you have a lovely day. So thank you for your time. Bye.